Thank you. Good morning, students. Good morning, students. People are looking gloomy. What's happening? Eh? Why are you all looking gloomy? You're missing your parents. People are not kids anymore now. So today, I know our orientation has been going on. Quickly, what we have now will be academic regulations. I want you to bring your paper and pen and write, please. Make sure you're writing something so that tomorrow you won't say that you did not hear or you did not know. Write, always form the habit of writing. So, academic regulations, course credits, and calculation of GPA. That is what we'll be looking at today. I hope it will be projected, but because of our time, I'll be working with my own laptop. I'll be handling the academic regulation, and my colleague, Reverend Nonso, will be handling the GPA section, so you must pay attention. So I want to welcome us once again to this. If you are here, that means both from your job. I know that some people would want to defer their admission for one thing or the other. So just wanted to let us know that it is possible that your admission can be deferred, or you can be granted a temporal withdrawal, but just for one academic section. Or maybe you're already in school. Some people get sick, some people get emotionally unstable and all that. You can as well apply for temporary withdrawal, but you have to write through your department to the school, to the Senate, and if the Senate approves it, you can proceed, but it wouldn't be more than one academic session. Now, for your academic workload, the minimum credit units that you have to undertake per semester, minimum credit unit is 15, and maximum is 24. So when you're doing your course registration, and ensure that you always register your courses, because if you don't register your courses, you won't see your results. So ensure that every semester you register your courses. So the maximum, or rather the minimum, is 15 credits, while the maximum is 24. Although you can actually do more or less, but that will be subject to Senate approval. Okay? The next one I want to talk about is concurrent enrollment. I don't know if there is anyone here that is running a program in another school before coming here. Is there anybody like that? Probably running a program in another school. But you know that some people do it. But here it is not permitted. You can't be running concurrent program. Maybe you're doing medicine in one school and you're doing nursing here. Or within this school, you're doing microbiology and you're doing pharmacy. It is not allowed. So you are going to focus on one course per time. Now, duration of each semester is normally 15 weeks. 15 weeks, teaching will be going on. And intermittently, you'll be having continuous assessments, which is compulsory for each and every one of you. For the exam period, we normally have 3 weeks. 3 weeks includes revision week of 1 week, and then 2 weeks for the exams, but it depends on your faculty, okay? So continuous assessment forms not more than 30% of your total assessment, and then your exams forms not less than 70% of your course grade. So even if you do more than 2 continuous assessments or 3, all of them should not be more than 30% of your course grade. So note that. And of course, I don't know whether you are conversant with the grading system. You know that in a particular course, everything I'm saying is a general, what is generally obtainable, but it differs from faculty to faculty. Okay? Those of you in medicine, pharmacy, medical lab science, I know by the time you do your faculty orientation, you find out that some of these things don't apply to you. But I'll just mention it as a general knowledge. So from 70 mark, if you get 70 in your exam, 70 and above, 70 to 100, you have scored A in that course, and that A is equivalent to 5 points. Write it down. 60 to 69 is a B and is equivalent to 4 points. 50 to 59 is a C and is equivalent to 3 points. 45 to 49, a D, equivalent to 2 points. 40 to 44 is an E and equivalent to 1 point. 0 to 39 is fail. Those of you in medicine and pharmacy, like I said, our minimum pass mark is 50. That means if you get 49 in any exam, you have failed that course. Do you understand? So minimum pass for pharmacy, medicine have their own, but I'm talking about my own department. Okay, now after an exam, and probably you are not satisfied with the assessment. You know, some people will say, they gave me what I did not write. You know, some of you say that when you're asked how is your JAMB, you say they gave you 200. But here, you write it yourself. So, but peradventure you don't feel satisfied with a particular grade you are giving, you can apply for reassessment. You can apply for reassessment, not when you think that they gave you. Before you apply for reassessment, you must be sure, okay? And that should be within 1 week after that exam. But there is a payment attached to it. And it is also subject to Senate approval. So these are the processes. Before you apply, you have to find out the cost of that application. And then when you have done that, you submit it for approval. If it is approved, because the Senate will have to sit over your request. If it is approved, then you'll be granted opportunity for reassessment. If not, it will not be valid. So, absence of an exam, you can be allowed to rewrite an exam, but only if permission was granted unto you before that examination. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not when you abscond from an examination. Just consider that course failed. But if you were sick and you apply to the Department of Faculty that, please, I'm not able to write this exam because of my sickness, accompanied by medical reports, when you return, you can rewrite that exam. Do we understand? But when you deliberately miss an exam, just consider that course failed. Also, if you do not meet up with 75% attendance, you cannot write that examination. So automatically you have failed that. So anytime you come to class, make sure you sign an attendance form or you write your name, however you do it. But at the end of the semester and it is cumulated and you don't meet up to 75% in your attendance, you are not going to write that exam. It's as simple as that. So take your attendance to lectures very seriously. Now, someone can also be placed on academic probation. You know, probation is that you are placed on hold until you prove yourself otherwise. So, if your CGPA, which we are still going to learn how to calculate, if it is not up to a minimum of 1, you will be placed on academic probation. But after that semester or subsequently, you are able to improve your academics, you can be released or reversed. So it's possible that somebody is placed So if you are there, probably placed on academic probation for one session, and you don't prove yourself, you remain there or you'll be asked to withdraw. Okay? So you can be asked to withdraw for academic failure. That is, if you do not achieve up to a minimum of 1 point, or you have stayed on that 1 point for over a session, you will be asked to withdraw. Okay? Then transfer from other institutions. It's possible that you can be transferred from other institution to our own institution. Only if your CGPA is up to 3 points. Okay? It's up to 3, not 3 points. 3, because by the time you learn how to calculate it, you understand what I'm saying. But you're going to provide necessary forms, transcripts, and then with Senate approval, you can be transferred from one school or the other. But another thing that must be accompanied with your application is attestation of good conduct. Because if you were rusticated from a university and you are applying to this place, nobody is taking you. So you must have an attestation of good conduct before you can be considered. Now you can also do inter or intra-faculty transfer. That means you can move from nursing to medicine, from pharmacy to microbiology, or the other way around. But for you to be able to do that, you must have a minimum CGPA of 2, but it depends on the faculty you're moving to. Do you understand what I said? If you're moving to something like pharmacy, medicine, nobody is accepting you with CGPA of 2. It must be a first class, up to 4.5. Okay? So, and then with your submission of transfer form and recommendation of your faculty board with Senate approval, you can actually move from one department to another. Are we following? Okay. If you have a question, just write it down. When we are done, you ask. Now, so, results are usually published after the Senate approval, but your faculty can publish the result of failed courses, because in some departments, when you fail, you can actually write a receipt, as in you receipt for the exam, while in some other places, you carry the courses over. So, for example, in pharmacy, if you fail a course, you can receipt the course or courses, depending on the number of courses you failed. But if you receipt and you still fail it, receipt a course, depending on your department or your faculty. Some people some faculties do carry over, while some have to receipt. Okay? So, for your graduation requirements, you have to have a pass in 𝐍𝐄𝐖. 𝐍𝐄𝐖 is industrial training. You must have a pass. You must have passed it, not the one you signed to go for IT. You go to your father's shop and go and stay, and after you bring form for us, we are going to assess you. You are going to defend that your IT, and if you pass it, if you don't pass it, you are not going anywhere. So your ITs must be taken seriously. Of course, a minimum CGPA of 1, and then a minimum course requirements for your particular program. Okay, so there is a classification of degree. For example, if you have 4.5, by the time you finish calculating your CGPA, which you are going to shortly, 4.5 to 5 points, you have a first class. How many of you want to get a first class? It is doable. Tell your neighbor it is doable. Do you want to know my own point? Mine was 4.80. Yes. It's okay. So it is now that you're going to decide whether you want to do it. You are going to make that decision today, so that you will start monitoring, start working hard and all that. Okay? So 3.5 to 4.49 is second class, upper division. Then 2.4 to 3.49 is second class, lower division. While 1.50 to 2.39, third class, 1 to 1.49 is a pass. I'm sure nobody is planning to come out with a pass here. Is anybody planning? Ask your neighbor, are you planning to come out with a pass? Please, I'm begging you in the name of God, don't do that. Because if you do that, you go suffer. Okay? So I'll stop here for my co-facilitator to continue. Afterwards, you can ask your questions. Thank you.
She asked a question, how many persons want to have a first class? And do you know why I was happy? Reverend Emma, that means you'll be ready to have first in history of Nigeria, 1,000 first class today. Niger likes to break records. So, yes, it's good. I don't know if you're up to 1,000 here, but just be ready that we have 1,000 first class graduates in that year. And it's practicable. However, do you know that maybe as it is now, do you know some persons are not yet in school? Some persons that even came in first, like some people came in like the second person in this compound, may still graduate with 𝐒𝐄𝐖 𝐒𝐓𝐔𝐃𝐄𝐍𝐓𝐒. When I mean 𝐒𝐄𝐖 𝐒𝐓𝐃, third class or something like that. It's not about how early you come in. It's not about when you come to the class in the night and see people reading. If you are sleeping and you look at them and you say, these people are too extraordinary. It's not about that. It's about how well. Your how well starts with knowing the things we are telling you in this session. Your credit units, your GPA. Like when she was saying, if your GPA is 4.0 to 3.5 to 4.5 is to second class, either higher or lower. Yes, but you will be learning how to calculate your GPAs right now. Practically, what is credit units? I will be giving you some words which I will explain. We have credit units, we have grade points, we have grade point average, and we have cumulative grade point average. At the end of this half session, you should know that. First one is credit unit, CU. The second one is GP, grade points. The third one is GPA, grade point average. And then the fourth one is CGPA, cumulative grade point average. They are similar, they are within the same system of calculation, but you understand it now. Most of you, if you had had the opportunity to, maybe you've not been registered yet in the learning platform. We have a learning platform system here. If you log in there, you may see some points. They will say they've registered for your first semester. You're registering Math 101, Bio 101, GSS 101, this and that. Each of them, by the side, they will write 3 credits. Some they will write 1 credit. Some they will write 2 credits. Have you seen something like that? That number written by the side determines the weight or the importance of the course. I don't want to use importance. I would like to say the weight, because all of them are important. That's why you are doing it. It's somehow when you build a lawyer that doesn't know a little about biology. There are some cases you come to the court and someone is trying to claim that I did not sleep with her, but she said I'm the father. you don't even know what biology is, so you may not understand. And again, at the same time, is somehow having a doctor that doesn't know how computers work. That's why sometimes you see CSC 101 is part of your course. All of them are important, but on level of weight or important or validity, let me put it that way, that's why the credit units come. For example, English 10, ENG 101, they will say 3 credits. Bio 102, they will say 2 credits. GSS 101, they will say 1 credit. Now, let's go to GPA and CGPA. I'll start first with GPA. GPA means grade point average. GP means grade points. At some points, when she was making the presentation, she said, if you have A in a course, what's the score? You wrote now, what's 70 and above? So in other words, if you have 69, what is it? Man, only try 1 point. There's nothing like 1 mark or no mark, 1 mark. If you want to be in A, you either get 70 and above. From 60 to 69 is what? So that you just know. Now, each of them have a number attached to it. If you have an A, the grade point usually attached to it is 5. If you have a B, the grade point attached to B is 4. If you have a C, the grade point attached to it the same way. D is 2, E is 1, F is what? 0. That doesn't mean that it is across board. If you go to medicine, it's either you are having 50 and above, pass, or 49, fail. It separates where you go to departments and the rest. But I'm trying to make this as a generic presentation. So now, for a typical course where, okay, meanwhile, the formula for GPA is the total credit units times the grade points over total credit units. The credit units, the sum of all the credit units times grade point. What do I mean? Credit units is just like I said earlier, Bio 101, 3 credit units. That is the credit unit, the CU, times grade point, GP, which I said something like, if you have an A, it is 5. That's what I mean. So when you multiply each of them, the sum of every of the courses, let's say you have 3 courses, 4.0 is what? Second class upper, which we call 2-1. Sorry, 3.5 to 4.49 is what? Let me read it out for you. 4.5 to 5.0 is first class. 3.5 to 4.49 is what? 2.4 to 3.49 is what? Second class lower. And then 1.5 to 2.39 is what? It was on the screen before, third class. And then 1.0 to 1.49 is pass. With someone that has 3.88, what's the value? Second class upper. Thank you very much. Now, I want to quickly go to 𝐶GPA. I've given you what GPA means. Under GPA, what makes up GPA is credit units and grade points. The credit units multiplied by grade points divided by the total credit units is GPA. Now, cumulative grade point average means is the overall average performance. In other words, I just used a semester to say, hey, in this first semester, I'm comfortable now. I'm a first class student as at now. You've not graduated, but you can say your GPA is this because it fell into 4.5 or second class upper. Now, the cumulative means in comparison with more than one semester. Let's say you are in second year now, but you want to know your 𝐶GPA now. It means you are getting that for first semester year 1 and getting that for second semester year 1. Am I making a point? In other words, let's say that the credit, let's say like in first semester of year, you were in 3.88, just like we've gotten already. And actually, you played too much in second semester. You were no more serious, this and that. You were not submitting your assignments, and it dropped to 3. It dropped to 3. If you look at that, you can find your GPA still. So now let me break it down a little. The first semester, we got 31 credit unit, yes, 31 grade points, isn't it? Divided by 80 credit units, isn't it? Now for the second semester, let's say you got 40 points divided by 12 credit units you carried for that semester. If I want to find my GP for that second semester using 40 and 12 credit units, what would your GP be? 40 divided by 12, what would it be? No, 3.33. That's how I got second. For me to now get my 𝐶GPA, say 3.33 or 3 points, add the two of them together, you may get